President Donald Trump has now announced that the U.S. will exit the foundational international climate agreement, which is aimed at addressing global climate crisis. The memorandum orders all executive departments and even agencies to cease participating in and even funding 35 non-United Nations organizations and 31 United Nations entities. The decision has drawn strong reactions from climate organizations, many of which have described it as a major blow to global climate action plan. In a presidential memorandum, President Trump stated that United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, along with 65 other organizations, agencies and commissions, is contrary to the interests of the United States and will be abandoned. The memo also directs the United States to withdraw from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the UN body responsible for assessing climate science, that is. Other prominent bodies named in the memorandum include United Nations Population Fund, which is the UNFPA, UN Women and UN Conference on Trade and Development. The list of organizations also includes the International Solar Alliance, which is a collaborative initiative between India and France on climate change. In a statement, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that the organizations were driven by progressive ideology and were actively seeking to constrain American sovereignty. United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, which is the UNFCCC, was adopted in June 1992 and approved later that year by the US Senate during George H.W. Bush's presidency. President Trump has repeatedly derided efforts to combat climate change and has even scorned the scientific consensus that human activity is warming the planet, terming climate science as a hoax. The US president has already withdrawn from the landmark Paris Climate Accord since returning to office. Trump had actually withdrawn from the accord during his first term itself, that is from 2017 till 2021. However, the move was later reversed by Joe Biden. The Republican leader had also pulled the US out of the World Health Organization and sharply reduced foreign aid as well as funding for numerous UN agencies, forcing them to scale back operations on the ground.